Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Bar podcast. I'm your host, Denise Satova, and today I have an absolute pleasure of hosting Vikki Ziegler. She is a true superstar in the legal world, and she is not just a founding partner of Ziegler Law Group LLC, but she's also, oh my gosh, she's an author. She is a media personality. She's a philanthropist, and so much more. From guiding couples through prenup planning to managing high profile celebrity divorces, Vicky's influence really transcends the courtroom. But not only she's an innovator in her field, but she's super fun and she's very approachable, and that's a rare quality. And that makes her an incredible guest. Welcome, Vicky, to the show.
Oh, thank you, Denisa. That was so kind of you. I think I paid you a couple dollars behind the scenes to say those nice things about me.
No, you did not, but I will take that. No, and you truly are a fascinating woman. So I will dive right in. Tell us your story.
Well, most people think that divorce is a bad thing. And I realized when I was about 8 or 9 years old, my parents were getting divorced. It was acrimonious and very difficult. And the judge called me into chambers and he said, "All right, Vicky, who do you want to live with?" And I said to him, "Well, you're wearing the robe, I'm not. But my recommendation is that I should live 50% of the time with my mother, 50% of the time with my father. We should live in a few mile radius, and I would be 1 week on, 1 week off. That way, nobody wins, nobody loses, and both parties get to see me. Because otherwise, I'm afraid my dad may move back to South Africa and there'd be some serious issues and consequences." And the judge looked at me and said, "Young lady, I'll be right back." He then proceeded, my parents told me later on, that he went into the courtroom and said, "Your daughter just brokered your custody deal. And if you don't take it, there's going to be serious consequences." So that's my forte into the divorce world.
How old were you again?
I think I was 9 years old.
Wow. And that must have been a painful experience. And you had that foresight. It's almost like you became the grown up.
Yes, I was the parent, really parenting my parents. And I think I understood at that moment what mediation looked like in terms of trying to broker a deal. So I think when you're young, you go with instinct, you're not jaded. And that experience, while it was probably the most
Mm.
difficult thing that I went through, really took me on a trajectory of, finding who I was, what was I looking for, and I knew I was going to be a divorce attorney at a very young age. And that's really where the track came from, and the to me, the fire in my belly to help litigants, to help their children come out okay, come out on top, and divorce with dignity.
Hmm. What if you're dealing with very, very, very emotional client, which only makes sense, right? Because of the process is very difficult. And some practitioners, they sort of take it on. And I think that could be a dangerous path. How do you deal with that? How do you handle it?
Yeah, listen, there is no easy way to deal with a very difficult and acrimonious divorce. I tell a lot of people we're dealing with the underbelly of hell in a lot of ways because people are at their
Mm.
worst. Some people don't want to get
Yeah.
divorced, somebody's cheating. So for me, it is directing my client with the right legal strategy and supporting them throughout the process. And to me, it's a divorce management style. I don't take on the case, their persona. I am who I am. I can get passionate for sure. I can get heated if I'm arguing on behalf of my client. But I think cooler heads always prevail. So for me, it's always being strategic in the way a case should move forward with the end of resolution in mind, if that could happen. And if it can't, there are a percentage of cases that have to go to trial if you can't agree. But to me, that doesn't always make the most sense in these cases.
Hmm. So being practical, being rational. Um, what about assembling your team? I understand you have a great, great, great team. What is it that is important to you beyond the credentials, experience, and sort of the quantifiable stuff that you see on the resume? What is it that you're looking in people when you're considering that individual as a hire?
Oh, in my practice?
Yes, in your practice,
Oh, I
yes.
mean, to me, it's critical. This is like family. So for me, we have a system where the entire office vets a new person, a new hire. That's how important it is for us to bring somebody in that that really meshes personality wise. Of course, as you said, credentials and obviously, a good track
Right.
record and working at other places that have actually taught them things. To me, it's who you are as a person. We have a no gossip policy. You come to work, we work. We try to laugh a little. We try to talk to each other in the hallways. But for me, who you are as a human, what's your human experience, and how
Mm,
hard do you want to help people? Because to me, altruism is one of the requirements that
mm,
allows somebody to come into my den, as we speak, as we say it.
mm. Yeah, that's not easy. I do have a virtual team, and I had to learn as an entrepreneur early on what is my style, and how I had to learn as a leader, and then just in a process, sort of what was triggering me and what I needed to grow through, and who sort of thrives in that environment and who not so much. So that's talking about evolution. I mean, with appearances on hundreds of radio shows and TV shows, and you even had your own show on Bravo, so you're not new to media. And I'm curious about that time. If you look back, what did you learn about yourself being essentially a celebrity and rubbing elbows with celebrities?
Yeah, it was an amazing time. TV found me. I wasn't looking for it. I was at a party and somebody said, "Hey, you should be on TV." And I said, "Ah, pay $100. I know you're never going to call me." I gave him $100. He called me the next day. I went on to Bill
Wow.
O'Reilly's show on Fox News, talked about Britney Spears shaving her head, and then the love of TV happened for me. It was love at first sight. And once I got my Bravo show, I realized I wish I went to broadcasting school, quite frankly, Denisa, because I loved it so much. But I also realized, and I was told, don't quit your day job because TV is very fickle
Mm,
and you're in one day and you're
yeah.
out the next. So we were really lucky to have two amazing seasons. We had great viewership. And I really started to learn that what people say about you doesn't matter. And for me, I'm a pleaser. I want everyone to like me. I want to do a good job for everybody. You call me in the middle of the night, Denisa, and you need help, I'm there. I don't care where you are, Long Island, Manhattan, New Jersey. And not
Mm,
everybody likes the haircut that you have, or not everybody likes the things that you necessarily say on television. But I realize that's okay. Other people's opinions
mm.
really aren't my business, and they're entitled to them. But I know who I am. So when your self worth is strong, and you believe in your ability and who you are as a person and you hope that you're a good person, to me that was the biggest thing I needed to learn while being in front of millions of people all the time.
That's not easy. That is not easy,
No.
and that is a great that's not. You're out there, we're both, sort of out there in public, and I've grown to realize many years later, really just more recently, is that when people throw something at you, there's a difference between critiquing, right, and just maybe seeing things differently and trying to break you down. I think that's why many people are afraid to get out there on social media, um, is it's really it hits their stuff. It has nothing to do with you. If somebody doesn't like your look or what you say, it's hitting something for them. And so
Sure, they
it's really yeah, but that you either can be fake to please everybody, which you cannot, or being authentic like you are.
right, and listen, people are going to cast and throw rocks all the time. I remember reading Brene Brown, and she said something interesting. She said, "People they don't get the chance to critique you if they're not in the arena with you." And I thought that was
Mhm.
phenomenal because I'm saying people are
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, you're on TV, you said this wrong, or you did this wrong," and I'm thinking, do you know how hard it is to be on
Yeah.
television on a live hit? Right?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
easy. I mean, they're like, 3, 2, 1. There's no retakes. This is live television.
Yes.
So nobody's perfect. But I think to your point, the strength of knowing your convictions and that everyone can make mistakes and you can learn from them and be humble about it. To me, the haters, I don't even listen to that. I think it's total nonsense.
Yeah.
This is my motto: join me or watch me win. And that's my team's motto.
Love it.
It's very
Love it.
simple, right? It's simple. So if
Yeah.
you don't like me,
Yeah.
don't watch me. But most
Yep.
people want to hear what we have to say and do, and we're doing good things for people. We're helping people, and that's important to me. That's a mission.
You know what? And I love that because there are more I choose to believe there are more people who choose to listen and are good people, have good intentions. I believe there already is a lot of positivity and gratitude floating out there, but sometimes it gets silenced by our focus, our own focus on the negative. So just like you know, just choosing to focus on yourself, what you can do, and staying authentic and hopefully empowering and inspiring others to jump into that ring and have a courage to be vulnerable and authentic. Talking about being altruistic and giving, you've been actively involved with the Make-A-Wish Foundation in New Jersey and also the Angels organization. Could you share a story about how this work has touched your life?
Yeah, Make a Wish Foundation. I was involved for several years on the donation side and also on the Giving the Wish side. So I would actually participate with a very sick child in giving them whatever wish they desired. I became very close with the family and helped them along their paths in their life. And the child who had sickle cell anemia wasn't such a child anymore, in his 20s, had a baby, and they called me and they said, we want you to be, involved in this child's life. And I am forever indebted to that family to show me really what true love looks like through medical conditions and difficult times. And when he passed away, I was invited to the funeral and I was participating and speaking, and it forever changed me. That experience and seeing all of the children going through such difficult treatments and still having a smile on their face and choosing a laptop or a spending spree or meeting a famous person. So for me, that gift of life, to know how precious life is and anything can change at any time, gave me a perspective of live your best life in the moment. And the organization that one of my paralegals is heavily involved in, she's gotten me on board, and that is for a homeless organization. And every Sunday between 7 and 9, they give out all of the donations and the food. And you know how cold it's been, at least in the New York, New Jersey area. And there's families, there's children living on the streets, and that touches your heart. So we've really round up a lot of people to donate clothing and individually packaged foods to help those in need. And I think, Denisa, when you help other people, you can forget your problems for a moment
Yeah.
and you can really focus on how lucky you are to have the ability to help somebody else. And that's, to me, it's almost an addiction. I love helping people, and as sad as it can be at times, the reward, to know that other people have food for the day and clothing. I try to teach my daughter, who's 8, to give away her clothing that she doesn't want and her stuffed animals to those who can't afford it, at the time. So being altruistic and giving back is a critical component at my firm, in my personal life, and for those around me.
Mm, just beautiful, and not just talking about it and doing it, and that touches me, and it touches me for more reasons than one. What you're a little bit like me is that you never stop thinking and growing and doing and we're just wired that way. That's why I
Yeah.
wanted actually I was thinking about I'm curious, uh, what does achieving a balance mean to you and where are you with that today?
Well, that's an amazing question. I think for anybody that has a child, a mother, I'm always looking for that healthy work balance, work life balance. And I always feel like I'm an octopus and all of my tentacles are out. But for some reason, I'm not feeding myself probably first and as well as I should. So I'm
Mhm.
always trying to, and this may sound crazy, but fit in time for myself, because the self care is critical for me to rehabilitate, to take a moment. Because as like you, I don't stop thinking. I only sleep a few hours. I have a law firm, which is my pride and joy. And then I have businesses, books, right? Movie, television appearances. I help my curate my daughter's life. I'm happily married. I have family. So there's so many things to do in a day, and I love my life, and I want to get the most out of it. So I'm always working on trying to figure out what the balance is. And sometimes, my husband says to me, Vicky, it's Friday night at 9 o'clock. You need to close your laptop. It's ridiculous. Okay. And come watch a movie. And I'm like, thanks, honey. So I tell him, please be my, eyes and ears, because I sometimes can't do it for myself. So it's okay to ask for help.
100%. I totally, totally get it. Movie. You said movie. Are there any shows that you guys are hooked on?
Oh, that's interesting. And that's another thing. I used to be on TV all the time. I never watched TV. So right now, Sofia Vergara's new Netflix documentary, I think it's Griswolda, I think her name is, but I'm fascinated with
Griselda.
very
Yeah.
Griselda, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm a fascinated with strong, tough women, and this one's a
Yeah.
little tougher than I probably would like to admit, but it is what it is, and I love that true life story. But I feel like anything that's empowering women, empowering humanity, that's what I'm into. How about yourself? What are you watching these days?
Interesting. We're actually in the middle of watching Griselda Blanco, and same thing. I
Uh-huh.
mean, it's like you don't want to root for someone who was involved in so many killings, but there's a part of you that is empathizing a little bit given where she came from, right? So
Yes.
it's to as any show where that shows sort of the complexity of the humanness, the fragility, and of course, we're rewatching Suits for like the hundredth time. We love the Yellowstone, waiting for that to continue. So we're kind of in between, always looking for recommendations. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I have a little list. I have a list of restaurants, a list of things I need to watch. Those are my kind of to-dos so that I can slot them in for my peaceful time. But for me, it's truly the only way to unwind is the spa. And it's to go for a
Mm.
massage and steam and sauna and breathe and exercise. Those are the things, that eat healthy foods and juice. Those are the things that to me keep me grounded, because I would work 24 hours a day if I could.
That's so interesting. And great. Not interesting, but great that you said that as self-care, because how can you help other people or even do what you do if if your batteries are not charged? I'm the same way as believing taking care of yourself. There's actually I love Jim Rohn. I don't know if you can call him motivational speaker, author. He's obviously no longer around, but he said, "You take care of you for me."
Mm.
And it just resonates with me, and yeah, and that is super important. So finally, what advice would you give to incoming lawyers?
Oh boy, I have so many. I love to be a mentor. So for any lawyers that are coming into my practice or in general, right, in life, that
Yeah.
I think you need to disavow this whole stigma that young attorneys don't want to work hard. I think that
Mm.
we're in a different time where I was inculcated my first day out of my clerkship, I tried a case where that would never happen now. So my best advice would be to work hard, stay later than everybody, read the rules, learn everything that you can from the experienced attorneys, read deposition transcripts and motions, sit in when you're allowed to, become your own attorney, right? See what you
Yeah.
like about an attorney, see what you don't like, and create your legal persona, and give your best effort. You don't have to be the smartest in the room, but if you try the hardest, to me, you'll go far.
I love that advice. You said try the hardest. There seems to be a theme. I've spoken to a few judges and other practitioners, and when I ask them about their pet peeve, they would almost all agree it's when people are not trying hard enough or
Mhm.
trying period. So I think that is a great advice. And then maintaining yourself self of self maintaining your sense of self, being authentic as we spoke about, and growing and learning and soaking it all in, because this is not a job. I mean, there's so many layers. Vicky, it's been absolute pleasure to delve into your world. I will for sure have you back. I mean, your dedication, passion, and energy are just phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing yourself here with us.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be with you, and you are amazing as well.
Thank you. And to our viewers and listeners, to find out more about Vikki Ziegler and how to get hold of her, click on her bio link below and follow her on social media. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel, Beyond the Bar Podcast. Follow us on all social media channels. And until next time, stay curious and inspired.